Welcome back to the FanSpeak Network and another episode of Sibling Showdown, the Underdog Battle Royale edition. This is week 11, folks. We are already to week 11, and we are talking Battle Royale. That's right, the snake draft on Underdog Fantasy. If you haven't checked it out yet, you don't know what you're missing. It is so much fun. Steve and I love doing it, and I am, of course, joined by my sibling, my brother, Steve. You can find him at SteveOSpeak on Twitter. So, Steve, how was Battle Royale for you in week 10? And are you ready for some week 11 action?
I didn't have a great week 10. It was like the lineups where I had the good running backs. I didn't have the right receivers and the ones where I had, like top end receivers like, Allen or Lamb or stuff like that. I had terrible running backs. So just didn't have the right combos, unfortunately. But, that's why we move on and keep grinding.
That's right. Absolutely. And I was pretty similar this week as well. I'd hit something, but it wasn't in line on all the positions. Had a much better week 9. So let's get back to our week 9. I think you and I both had a much better week 9. One of my leaks, and you and I have talked about this, obviously, because we talk, obviously, best of all days, fantasy, all the good stuff all the time, but is I kind of ignored Dak. I ignored Dak in Dallas in everything, basically. Didn't touch him betting, I think I did like 4 p.m. only with like a Dak stack. Didn't touch them in Battle Royale. A huge mistake. Like, how many times have we seen in a blowout that Dallas wins by a ton where they only play 3 quarters, where Dak and his, weapons get there in 3 quarters, right? I mean, a huge mistake on my part.
Yeah. And, new offensive coordinator, same Dak, same thing. This team is still growing. They're still highly efficient. We saw Brandon Cooks and Michael Gallup join Lamb as top end receivers. I mean, Cooks especially, and it just shows how dynamic this offense can be. Ferguson's still killing it as a tight end. His red zone usage is incredible, and Pollard. I mean, the usage is still there. Especially
it's been a weird season for him,
especially for a guy who didn't play the fourth quarter, and he didn't get targets, which was a little weird. But I still think there's just so much opportunity. I mean, this offense is so explosive. Any given week, they can put up 5-6 touchdowns.
Yeah, you'd love to see more targets for Pollard, but the volume's still there, so you're still interested in going back to the well. Then I assume.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with him sliding down like rankings and stuff like that. It's just. It just takes 1 or 2, big plays, and we know he has these big playability. We've seen in the past, and we've seen some of it this year, just not as much as we'd like.
It's like the Michael Scott gift. We're ready to get hurt again by Tony Pollard. But no, you and I were very high, and I'll put this up. If you're new to Underdog, we played a ton of Underdog Best Ball. We had a ton of Dallas exposure in Underdog Best Ball this summer. So we loved, the last few weeks have been great. Not so much for Pollard shares so far, but for other Dallas shares, and maybe Pollard will get there soon. Could be this week. So that's why I'm talking about it, just because they're set up for another potential blowout spot against the Panthers this week. I'm not going to make the same mistake. I'm not saying I'm going to do all Dak stacks in Underdog. I'm not saying I'm going to do all Dak stacks in Daily Fantasy, but I'm not going to ignore it like I did last week. So we talked about Dallas. Now let's talk about other games on the target. There are more high totals on the slate. We had a lot of powerful offenses off the slate. Now, of course, we have a lot of powerful offenses on night games. Ravens, Bengals on Thursday night. What is it? Monday night, we've got Chiefs, Super Bowl rematch, Chiefs, Eagles. So, but there's still some very attractive totals on the slate. We've got high totals in the mid to high 40s with Raiders, Dolphins. We have Cardinals, Texans. Let's see, the Bears, Lions. I know we still need to wait and see about Justin Fields. Rams, Seahawks. Matthew Stafford is back. So there are still a lot of high totals. Any ones that you're particularly gravitating to? I know you don't have to force game stack, but that you might want to stack up like quarterback, receiver. Any ones that are really standing out to you?
Yeah, well, the first thing I'll just say is kind of as you're going down, and Fields is the one where we do have to still see, but this is what happens. We're getting some of these quarterbacks coming back. Kyler Murray coming back for Arizona, Stafford projected to come back. We see a semi-functional Aiden O'Connell with Vegas. I mean, that changes the dynamic. If it is Jimmy Garoppolo, how good do we feel about any sort of pushback in that game? So functional quarterback play is a must. And So yeah, in terms of these top games, I do think there's enough to like multiple places. The Rams Seattle game, early in the year, Rams just ran all, just crushed Seattle week one. Seattle could not do anything offensively. I don't know if that happens again now. Seattle's a little bit better, somewhat inconsistent, but a little bit better. And but the Rams didn't have Cooper Kupp, so that game could get interesting, especially Rams coming off a bye. And I don't think Kyren Williams will be back, so they are likely going to be very reliant on Kupp and Puka. So that's probably one of my favorites from a pure total, like a game that could really go over the total on both sides.
Yeah, and you have to think I have to check the rankings as we get into it, because as we do the show, I like doing it. This is like my first draft to kick off my battle royales for the week, and then because yes, we're talking it through, kind of some of our strategies, teams, and players that we like, but then we will be in a minute or two here doing a live battle royale draft because they're quick. They're fun, and you can see how we talk our strategies and plays through. But yeah, I like your call on that. I'd have to see where Kupp's coming in, because I could see him being a little undervalued, and I'd like him this weekend. But boy, do I really like the Dolphins-Raiders game. I mean, if I could get some kind of, I don't even know if this is even possible, but if you could get like a Tua, Tyreek, Josh Jacobs, I don't even know if that's possible, but I'm just saying I'd want it if it is possible in Battle Royale, because they are feeding Josh Jacobs. I mean, what has he had, like 26 carries the last 2 weeks or something like that? I mean, coach speak saying we've got to get him that century mark. They did, so I love that this week. And then speaking of guys coming back, a chain may be back for the Dolphins. Have to see how that plays out. So a lot of injury news to still pay attention to. At this point of the week, we tape on a Tuesday evening. So, pay attention to that as the week goes along. Any other kind of, players that you're targeting? We always like to do more often, if we possibly can, 2 running backs. I assume you're still interested in that. And then there are any priorities that you have in the first round?
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think it's definitely a deeper running back week, which I typically like, just because it makes it a little easier to get those 2 running backs.
Yeah.
I would say in general, though, and because of that, in general, I don't mind going receiver in the first round. If you can get Tyreek, if you can get a Monra, Lamb, I'm all for it. Keenan Allen, we need to see with this injury. And Diggs does have a tough matchup, but boy,
for my Best Buy shares, I hope Keenan Allen's okay. I just have to say
boy, do I think Diggs is going to get fed next week. I don't care who's on him.
Yeah, new offensive. So who's going to be the OC? Did they
Joe Brady. Okay,
was he the quarterback's coach? Because I mean, I know what was the guy's name that just got fired?
Former quarterback.
I just blanked on the guy that just got fired from the Bills. OC just got fired. He was the quarterback's coach when Josh Allen got started. I read how that whole history kind of for Bills fans. So this has been a wild ride for the Bills season. But anyways, okay. So you were kind of focusing on receiver, deeper running backs group this week that will still allow you to get 2 running backs, but not necessarily have to force it in the first round. I don't know where Jacobs is going, but he's a priority to me, though, I will say, especially in this format with, the amount of volume he's getting and potential, to score a touchdown and everything. So, all right. So let's bring Underdog over and jump into a draft. So this is Battle Royale Week 11. Again, it's a $5 buy-in. You're drafting with 5 other people. You're drafting 6 rounds. They all start quarterback, running back, 2 receivers, tight end, 1 flex. We like to usually use that as a running back. For some reason, usually it goes pretty quick. We were the last one or the first one to jump in, I guess. So we were waiting on 5 more. But usually they fill fairly quick. Let me see if I can bump up just to get the screen a little bigger. Is that showing okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, still waiting for 4. So let's look at rankings here, Steve. So rankings are in order. Christian McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, Austin Eckler, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, Cooper Kupp, to my point, a lot farther down than I thought. Jahmyr Gibbs, Devin Achane, assuming he's back. Tua, Travis Etienne, David Montgomery, Dak, Just trying to see where. So, wow. I mean, where is Josh Jacobs? Okay, so Josh Jacobs is late. That surprises me.
I'm guessing by the end he will move up.
Right,
But
because this is obviously ADP as drafts are happening, and drafts just essentially are just been getting started. So that'll factor in. And again, one thing we've talked about how some strategies we like going to running backs. We've talked about how we, don't feel like you have to follow the board as gospel. Like if you want to go get your guy, go get your guy. Like obviously you can drop down. We saw how CJ Stroud has been optimal, 2 weeks last week, obviously had a great week this past week too, but 2 weeks ago, don't feel like you just can draft from like the top 6 quarterbacks or the top, 12 running backs or, those kind of things. Go get your guy if you think he could be an optimal scorer. Right, Steve?
Yeah. I mean, look at Trey McBride at tight end this past week.
Exactly. So we have pick number 3. And I can just tell you if Tyreek Hill's there, he's my pick. I don't think he will be. But who would be your next rankings after that?
I think Lamb or Amon-Ra.
Okay. Yeah, I like Amon-Ra a lot this week. Okay.
I actually don't love Christian McCaffrey this week.
Yeah, which is so shocking to say. Just because, Bucks are pass funnel. I know he's, built that he can, obviously the touchdown streak broke. They tried so hard to get him that touchdown at the end. That was hysterical. And I had played Christian McCaffrey a good bit, so I was hoping he would. He did not. Touchdown streak's over, but we know how likely he is to still find his way to the end zone. Obviously, he's involved in the pass game. So, I think that makes him a different beast. However, I just like these, to your point, these receivers better. And like you said, the depth of the running back position. So I'm kind of fine with these 3. I mean, do you really see a need to go any further than this? Because I really don't. I mean, to me, I like your strategy of taking receiver in the first round. And to my point, Tyreek Hill did go 1 overall. I'm not surprised. I'm fine with either of Lamb or Amon-Ra. Do you have a strong preference between the 2? I mean, they're both in big spreads as of now, like. Yeah.
I would probably go Lamb.
Okay. Well, he did just get taken. Oh. But to your point, but I did want your opinion between the 2. Yeah. But to your point, I like both. You mentioned Amon-Ra right off the jump too. So Amon-Ra and Lamb, I have them very close. To me, it probably is that like Hill, Lamb, Amon-Ra, I'm fine with either. Okay, so let's look at the board. And so we just picked at number 3, and then coming around. Sorry, I'm without a mouse today, so I'm struggling. So it went Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler. It's a pick 6 right now, and it'll be coming back to me at pick number 10. So then we will take a look at the board here. Okay, so what do you like targeting next? Do you want to target a running back early still, or do you want to pick up another receiver? I mean, I don't think we're in a situation that I have to get like Kittle or Laporta. I'm fine waiting on tight end. Obviously it looks like Tua will go early. I'm guessing the guy that got Hill will try to grab him. But there's no rules in Battle Royale. We could grab him and, get Waddle if we wanted to, if he's still there. So, it's just wanted to get your thoughts on that. Or we could, obviously we have a Amon-Ra, we could shoot to get Goff later. So what are your thoughts? Do you like a Tua or a Dak here? Do you like one of the running backs here? Do you like another receiver here? I
would probably go running back here.
Okay, so we've got a chain. I don't like ETN against that. And then we've got the split backfield with David Montgomery. Gibbs just went. So, I mean, do you really want to take a chain off the injury?
Well, I like a chain. I do like ETN.
Okay, well, 4 seconds. So make a pick.
Let's go with the chain. Yeah.
Okay. With that, the way they passed to him, if we wanted to, if Tua was still there at 15, we could take him,
Yeah. I mean, I actually don't know if 2 in the passing offense are going to go off as much this game. I think I think we've seen a lot where they get there on the ground in these kind of spots, especially when they had both the chain and Mostert, rolling. So I would.
Just you mean because they're favored by a decent amount?
Yeah.
Okay. What is the spread in that game? Yeah, it's 11. Yeah, I didn't realize it was double digits.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew it was a lot, but I didn't realize it was that much. Okay. So we've got, like we said, targeting tight ends later. We've got Adams, Waddle. If we wanted like where did Cup go? Just out of curiosity. Just curious. Oh, he did go. So he went 6. Yeah. I like that because he wasn't ranked that. So that person, I like them. They went Cup Diggs there. That's smart at the turn, I think. And then we're up in 1. Then it went Allen, Gibbs. We took a chain, Dak, ETN, Puka. And then we're up at 15 in 1 pick. So I still have 2, again, we could also target Goff later. Other running backs are David Montgomery.
I'd go Jacobs. I mean,
oh yeah, I was talking about him at nauseum, and then because I just don't think, I think somebody's going to go get him. Boy, I actually really like having, not that you have to like have a bring back, but having like a chain Jacobs. I love that in that same game because I really like that game a lot.
Yeah.
All right. So I would say, so we're coming then back up at, okay, so we took Jacobs, then Waddle went off the board at 16. We're coming back up at 22. So we'll pick 22, 27, and 34. 34 taking tight end. So at 22, I kind of think we should take a quarterback here, either Tua or Goff.
What other quarterbacks are there?
Sure. And then let's look at. I mean, Jets have had Allen's number. I'm not even talking about the stuff. There's no way.
Well, Stroud.
Yeah, Stroud is.
Look there. I have no problem with Herbert.
Well, can we just take a look at receiver too? Just wanted to see, is there any receivers that we feel like we're losing value on that we want to grab over a quarterback? Because again, we're coming up at
not particularly.
Okay, because it's going to be basically 22 and 27. It's going to be quarterback, receiver, tight end, or vice versa. So, I'm gonna, if Tua just went, we could pick up another Houston receiver. Obviously, Dell just went. I'm going to take Goff. I like the correlation. Are you fine with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so we are up again at pick 27. We have Goff, a chain, Jacobs, Amon-Ra, St. Brown. So we have our stack, Goff, Amon-Ra, and then a chain, Jacobs. I love this, the way this is shaped up so far. So now we're looking receiver, and then we'll get tight end last. So we've got Deebo Samuel, Amari Cooper, Brandon Ayuk, Noah Brown, Mike Evans. I guess tough matchup, but I don't know. Mike Evans always has the potential. I mean, he could have 2. Did you see that touchdown drop he had last week?
Yeah.
I mean, he could have 2 touchdowns in the week. So, all right, let's cue him up because it's going to go fast here. So, what do you like?
Deebo's fine. Ayuk would be fine also. Noah Brown.
Are you worried about Noah Brown if Nico Collins comes back?
Not particularly. I wouldn't do Garrett Wilson in this format.
Why? Just because you don't think he'll find the end zone?
Yeah.
Well, we got 4 to choose from here. So
they have 1 offensive touchdown in 3 games.
Yeah, that's wild. It's just absolutely wild. It's just he's targeted like 14 times. But yeah, we're hunting touchdowns. Deebo, Mike Evans. I like Mike Evans. We're hunting touchdowns. I like Mike Evans. But Deebo and Mike Evans are my 2 favorites.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm fine with either. Like, I think they're both in really good spots.
Okay. Any preference? I'll let you decide.
Go Mike Evans.
Okay. I think they could be playing.
Yeah.
One would think from more of the negative game script. So that's kind of why I like that. All right. So let's clear this out and then target tight end for our last pick. Because again, let's take a quick look at the board. So we got Amon-Ra, a chain, Jacobs, Jared Goff, Mike Evans, and we're up again at pick 34. So as you can see, these goes so fast, but they're so fun. And I typically, with the tight end situation, if there's like a tight end I want to grab early, like an elite tight end, I do that in the first or second round, or usually second or third round. But if not, then I'm waiting until the last round. And well, he's been just a target volume monster. Kincaid, Ferguson. I'll just go down the Komet. I mean, I think these are all guys that have been getting a lot of volume on their teams. Anybody else that you want me to queue up? We are up in 4.
It's lower, but Musgrave, I mean, he's
been getting more targets lately. Yeah.
And
I mean, I like Marin Chig, but I don't think we have to go down that far in this format. You know who I do like target wise? I know they don't get in the damn end zone, but Conklin is getting like a crazy amount of targets too. But again, I don't think we have to go that far.
Yeah.
I mean, even though the Jets have Josh Allen's number and the Bills just fired their offensive coordinator, Kincaid's just become a volume monster, getting a ton of volume himself. You know, we talked about this being the year of the rookie tight end. Sam Laporte has been good to us. Now Kincaid and Michael Mayer are really starting to break out. Kincaid just went. Do you like? We are on the clock. Do you like? I like Ferguson. I mean, I don't care that it's okay. So we grab Ferguson with our last pick. So I'll just bring the board up. Again, we had the third pick, and we grabbed Amon-Ra St. Brown with our first pick. Devin Achane, likely coming back, obviously, this week. Steve likes the running game a lot in that one, in a obviously very positive game script. Josh Jacobs, they're just leaning on him in that same game, even though there'd be a likely negative game script. They're just leaning on him, 25 plus carries the last couple of weeks. Jared Goff to pair with Amon-Ra, Mike Evans, and Jake Ferguson. So I really like that draft. And this was fun to see. You know, it's always fun to have the first draft and see how rankings actually play out in reality. I was surprised, like I said, Jacobs and Kupp were a little lower. We took Jacobs. Someone else took Kupp in the first round, which I think is smart. So it's interesting to see the board play out. Any surprises on the board, and what do you think of our draft before we get out of here?
Yeah, no, I don't think any major surprises. I think one thing I did want to point towards our draft with the chain, you know, I think people were looking at the Raiders and their defense has played much better, obviously getting these back-to-back wins. But I think you need to keep in mind that Saquon, even with no quarterback, ran really well against them, while the Jets didn't necessarily run extremely well. One, it's the Jets. Their offensive line's a joke. And we did see this, the Lions a couple of weeks ago, who, again, are a very well-run offense, similar to the Dolphins, just run all through the Raiders' defense. And coaching, there's no coaching change that changes that. You know, it just doesn't change the personnel you have on the field. And we know what Mike McDaniel can do with the chain and Mostert. So. Right.
Yeah. So you're happy with the team? I'm really happy with the team.
There's just a lot of upside there with the potential volume. And, you know, again, these types of drafts, you need the right run out. You need Detroit to be throwing and some of the touchdowns to go in Amon-Ra's way and not, you know, Laporta and the running backs. But if it happens and it's Goff and Amon-Ra, it's a good lineup, you know.
And you got, you know, Goff is just having a good season, but you know, Goff in the Dome in Detroit is just, you know, it always does seem like you get a little bit more fantasy goodness from him there.
Well, and the other thing, especially, and you know, we'll have to see. I mean, Badgers played well enough, but if Fields comes back, then this game could have enough pushback. We saw that last year when
I was going to say, Chicago, I remember I remember their games being pretty high totals.
They were pretty high scoring. One was definitely more run focused, but the other, Goff, had a really good game. So,
yeah, I thought so. Okay.
And just the one other thing I'd say with that is, it is a division game, and you know the Vikings are now chasing the Lions, so you know every division win's going to count. You know, Lions cannot mess around. They can't play to just hope they win by a field goal. They need to play and win and crush this game with the way the Vikings have come on.
Right, absolutely. Well, I love our draft. This was fun. I love this first one. Steve will have up every week. He'll have up his underdog rankings up on fanspeak.com, all free. So check it out on fanspeak.com. You can find it right on the homepage. Be sure to like this episode and subscribe to the FanSpeak Network so you know when we go live with these shows or put these shows up. And check out our NFL betting card show, which will have our best bets for the week. So again, check out all the content at fanspeak.com, both here on the channel and FanSpeak shoup.com. And we really appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much. Good luck in week 11. And hopefully we see you in the lobbies. See you next time.